Wayne Risa. What's the purpose of having a school board if they don't listen to those who elected them? I don't know what else to say.
The next speaker will be John Manolis, about filling the seat on the board.
Time out, I'm sorry. Next little bit of time left. So I want to make one more point before I sit down. How does the board define a conflict of interest? I'm just curious. How is that defined? Because it does, technically, hypothetically, because I know these are not unfounded accusations, technically, according to you, but if they are, does that not count, should that now be worthy of a recusal? I'm just curious. I don't know if the legal counsel wants to answer that or someone wants to answer that. I'm just curious. Is that not?
Yeah, we don't want to get into a legal discussion here, but thank you. I mean, there's a lot of public information. Everyone can go and look at that. And you can look at state law under conflict of interest also.
Just curious.
Yeah, thank you.
I'd like to speak about this whole process. I'm really embarrassed. You're a school board. You're supposed to set an example, and this is how you set an example. You say you have to work hard, get this board member in line because you have to hire a president for the college here, and here you're wasting this time. I don't understand. You're the most political, nonpartisan group I've ever been around. And I've been in politics more than 50 years. I'm 69 years old. I started in politics when I was 16 years old, knocking doors, working for a candidates. But this is amazing. It's terrible. I'm embarrassed. I've watched you on TV a few times. I didn't find it too intriguing, so I didn't watch. But I went last week, and when I learned, then I talked to Dr. Wilmot, and I asked them, what can they do? They can do whatever they want. And yet you have no procedure how to direct, how to appoint the next person. Why don't you, and the word incumbent is so important on the ballot. If you're the incumbent in this town, you're going to get reelected. You have to about shoot somebody or stab somebody, do some awful crime not to get reelected. Believe me. And to see the dirty politics in the last election and to see what's going on here really bothers me. As a taxpayer for 25 years in this town, I'm embarrassed for all of you. I really am. And to say that would have made it a lot easier. I don't know why you don't have a procedure that if a position comes open, I believe the voters should have a right to say. Not the 6 of you, but the voters in the city should have a say. And that would have been Adele. He got 11,000 votes. Not one of his votes counted on your board. And if you can't take that for a fact, you say they're all qualified, you had Roxanne McDonald, who you all said was qualified, did a good job on the board, but didn't put her in that position. So this is all politics. It's all about a group controlling you, and maybe they're giving you all money to get reelected, or maybe they're supporting one another. But that's a sad day. I'm a Democrat. I'm a strong Democrat, and I'm proud to say it. And this group reminds me a bunch of the Republican Party, where if you don't vote, you don't follow the rule, they'll primary you out because you got to follow the money. And this is what this looks like, and I'm really disgusted, and I'm very disappointed.
In response to your question, state law took in 2011
and the state
away
law,
the right for
the
us to
state law.
conduct
Why wasn't Hussein told about that provision? This rule should not take an effect for this because no one on the board knew about this. You're going to go research something that you said was before somebody's even born, and you're going to say this is the precedent, you got to go by it? You're wrong there again. The state law, if you're the chairman or some of the board should have said, no, Hussein, if you don't vote, you're voting with a majority. But no one said a thing. But afterwards, you sure dug it up and found it. Shame on all of you. Shame on all of you.
Make a statement. The lump sum, because not all of us were voting in that direction.
No, I understand.
So your lump sum offends me.
Okay, I'm sorry I offended you.
Not all of us were working towards that end.
But I think as a board, you should, I think you really need to think about, do like the council and many other groups do. The person who got the most votes, who didn't should step up. If they're still qualified, if they still live in the city, and if they still want the job, they should be given to them. But you spend so much time, yeah, with me and everyone else, where you should be looking for that president for the college. And you waste it on this.
All right.
You better, I'd like to see in the next month or two come up with that conclusion. Or maybe a lot of you backdoored in
Your
and then you're the
3
incumbent, then you get
minutes
reelected.
are up, Mr. Manolis.
Well, you asked me a question, but don't have a chance to answer the question?
No, trustee, no, you're not answering questions.
No, I made a
Trustee Petrikov
statement.
was responding. Yeah, okay, thank you.
All right,
Next speaker.
Abdullah, and I know I pronounced it wrong last time, I'm sorry.
It was an obvious article.
Concerns about the vacancy. And I think this is your brother coming up behind
Yeah,
you.
he just left. He was too upset. But honestly, I'm at a loss of words. Like, I come up here and I wasn't expecting what happened today to actually happen. Mr. Berry had a motion on the board that apparently, since he and you as a president didn't know about this law, that none of us knew either. I'm wondering what happened to that motion. There was no respect to the motion that he supported and was not even brought up by him. Really, I really feel a huge lack of respect from the whole school board to every single citizen that's here. So many people here came and sacrificed, either left work early or sacrificed time. It's Ramadan. People are fasting. People stayed past the time they're supposed to break fast. They've been fasting for 19 hours. And you guys didn't show the slightest amount of respect. Really. And if there's anybody that should have abstained from voting, it's Ms. Hamoud, because we all know that she has obvious relations with
Please don't make accusations again
I
against
made a
any
suggestion.
individual member. No, please, do not do that, that's libel.
Okay, I'm sorry, it came out of my mouth already,
Thank
but it
you.
was a suggestion.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And like I said, you guys lost all credibility. Honestly, this was a solid school board. A lot of people had a lot of respect for it. Don't get me wrong, this is still a very, very proud place to go to school to, but as school board members, it's really hard to say that you guys are a little amount of credible, honestly. Like, very embarrassing on your behalf. And this is coming from somebody who doesn't have much legal or political background, but it's very obvious. Like, a child could look at these meetings and just laugh at them, really. So I hope you guys can sleep well at night and be okay with this. Have a good day.
The next speaker, Maddie Alley, the process of electing new board members. No?
I'm not her.
Mansour Mashra?
He left.
Okay, I know he's here. Charles McDonald?
Good evening, board. May I be the first to congratulate the new board member? Boy, is perception reality now. I believe I stated that last week. Wow, I had so much to say on other things. I believe the vote is null and void for one reason. Nobody knew what a so-called abstention vote was. So now you bring this up law, which is fine and well. You can jam your applicant in all you want. I say he did vote. He just didn't vote yes or no. Was he asked to vote on any of the motions? I don't believe he was. Does a motion carry through with a majority of the votes if all the board members were not asked to vote on that motion? I argue that this vote is null and void. I could be wrong. You can ask the legal expert if we want. If everybody does not know what an abstention means, is it a fair vote?
Orally no, but legally yes.
If it looks like duck poop and smells like duck poop, and you hear a duck quack, gotta be duck poop. Logic and reason says it's duck poop. You can't rescind or amend minutes from a past meeting to suit your own needs. You talk about sacrifice. I sacrificed 5 years of my life while my wife was on this board. I felt like a single dad for the time and effort she put into this community, the school board, and the kids. She shook over 15,000 graduates' hands for the time that she was here. She was a certified board member. Are any of you certified as a board member? I take that all as a no. She put more time and effort into this board and was an outstanding board member. How much time I got left?
18 seconds.
I just gotta say this is wrong and shameful. You put a tarnish on the school board, you put a tarnish on the reputation of the community and the city of Dearborn. Shame on y'all. You jammed your, very qualified, but I would argue there's a better qualified candidate for the time period that needs to be taking place to fill this position. And I would argue that there's a 14-month learning curve alone just to be a board member. Congratulations.
A deep motive? I figured you didn't leave.
Good evening. No, I didn't left. Many people left because last time they came, they voiced their concern, they voiced their opinion, didn't matter to you. Didn't even been acknowledged that we were here, thanked. Why? Because we're not well connected. We didn't donate to candidates when they're on school boards. For a minute, when last time discussion and consideration was happening, I thought you're selecting a next member in a private, exclusive golf club. And it's not a board for a school, for a city. We came in, we voiced our concern respectively. We said what we need to say, but it wasn't even acknowledged that there was hundreds of people that came in, wrote to the board. It was guessed that you listened to the well-connected, the well-elite. All the discussion was about recommendation. Who recommended who? Who know who? Is this how we run? I remember, and I read news, that I know this is how it's done in a third world country. I didn't know it's done here. I also know in the law there's the intent. The intent factor for Mr. Berry has not been discussed or cleared. And he has showed what his intent was by talking today and showing what his vote is. And I think that's, from a legal point of perspective, that need to be taken. Lastly, it seemed that that the well-connected people with the money will rule here, but that's not going to last. That's not going to last. We have elections. Elections will matter. Facts will matter. Voices of people will matter, because you didn't take any of that into considerations. Open Act meetings question was raised at the beginning of the first meeting. And that's because there was a candidate that was already agreed upon some of the board members before even the board. We come here under the sun, discuss our opinions. We don't get to shady deals, backroom bitings. We come and express our thoughts and our opinions to you, and no one wants to care about it. And you want to set example for our children? This is the example you want to set for my children? I don't want them to listen to today's meeting. I wish they shouldn't record it and put it on the news so it doesn't taint you for the rest of your life. The whole city is watching and watched what happened tonight. It was pre-planned. The affidavit already been filed. Everything has been prepared to come guest take this one. You didn't even want to listen to other board members. Just jump it in. Lastly, I want to recognize and thank some of the board members that voted their conscience, that stated their values, and that give us some hope that there is some change in the future. And thank you for that.
Nasser Al-Kahali.
Hello. I am speechless. I had my speech, but everything now is unbelievable. I mean, I know my voice will not hurt, will not continue because, like he said, I'm not well connected. I'm not from the special group. Last meeting, I came before you and they spoke about the importance of your independence. I had faith on you making a different choice, different from the rumors, but you failed us. I didn't speak for any individuals or organizations at the time, so people say, oh, he's spreading some propaganda. But this time I came with solid proof that was released to the public, and the dots were connected. I would like to share with you a news article that was published right after the process were done last time, and how some special group clearly connected their influence to the board appointment. The article was published by Arab American News, and I was shocked to read it. When I searched to see if the board tried to correct the record, I could not find anything. So I'm going to quote from the article. It has some names. It wasn't me. So ABAC has continued to build strong ties with the Board of Education. The organization had backed Chov, in addition to current trustees Bazzi, Roxanne McDonald, Mary Lane, and Michael Mead. The article went on to explain the family relationships that held in the last appointment. The same people who voted for IBAC's candidate in 2015 are the same people who voted this time. And this is unbelievable. I mean, you guys cannot lie to a kid about this. That is, I don't know, my next step is just to move out of Dearborn, period. Thank you.
And the final card tonight, and I'm not sure if they want me to read it, is Amal Ali here? I have a written statement, but I don't know if they want to read it or want me to read it. She left? Okay, then I guess I will read it. Topic, students not being heard. I attended Henry Ford College. I'm here to voice my concern after I sat through the June 12th meeting and heard speaker after speaker. Most of the speakers spoke on support of Adele Mosip, whom I volunteered for his campaign. I'm saddened that not one single member considered him for the post. I watched Adele closely during the campaign. He was devoted to the student first vision of the district that he, with many others, actually put together. He listened to parents and residents. He's an avid listener and a dynamic person that the board will be remiss if they don't select him. I have full confidence in Adele making it next year if he decides to run. He has gained so much support from all over the city to be the voice of the students like us who can relate to us on this board. I hope you highly consider him and listen to your students as you claim we come first. Thank you, Aman Ali. And that's it for the citizen participation.
Okay.